Views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, welcome to the big show, buddy.
Happy Monday, Crudy, but to me it's like a Friday.
Why is that, Dom?
Well, I'm going to be taking off the rest of the week, so this will be my only time in studio with you this week.
Another strenuous one-day work week for you, Selvia.
Come on, always working, Crudy.
Like we got nothing going on around here? You need to abandon ship. Where are you going?
My lovely wife is taking me to New Orleans. Nolans.
Yeah.
You know,
big jazz festival going on there right now. I heard about it on the national
Jazz
news.
Fest. I think that was this past weekend, yeah. So hopefully,
you don't think New Orleans is still going to be partying?
The whole city down before I walk. I've been there before. Our buddy Zach had a bachelor party there, but never really left more than a couple blocks of Bourbon Street. So we're gonna do it a little differently this time.
We'll see. Tom, this show is supposed to start a little differently than normal. I believe we're going to have Congressman Mark Pocan along very shortly. And also in the big show, we got State Rep Katrina Shankland. She's a Democrat, a fine one. Sort of restoring the Wisconsin idea.
Well, what is that?
Well, that's, what Republicans want to get away from. Sort of want to winnow the Wisconsin idea right out of our Constitution. We've talked about this in the past. Katrina Shankland, our fine guest in the 4 o'clock hour. Fight her around 4:30 here. And Dom, tomorrow I think is going to be an enormous event, 287G. Sheriff Severson over in Waukesha County, we originate technically, in studios on Brady Street, but the stick is over in Waukesha County, Dom.
The 3 sticks are in Waukesha County.
Yes, thank you for the clarity. Waukesha, big action tomorrow morning, and we're going to cover it. And when I say we, it won't be you, right?
No, I won't be me.
It's going to be me and Jocasta Zamarripa.
Nice.
We'll be marching. I think we'll try to incorporate some sort of marching and broadcasting at the very same time.
Well, we do radio. That's a great idea.
We have invested in the technology. We can march and talk, and we'll do so tomorrow. My fine co-hostess in Dom's absence will be Jocasta Zamarripa. It's going to be on with me from 3 to 6 tomorrow, Dom, and she's going to join me in the morning. We're going to do a little marching tomorrow in Waukesha in opposition to 287G. And our fine friend, Christine Neumann-Ortiz, she's the executive director, Voces de la Frontera, is coming right down here to Brady to sort of preview that event. She'll be here in the happy hour at 5, Tom.
And, of course, the caravan, as it's called in Mexico, has reached the border. Apparently, about 100 left of those that are going to be seeking asylum. And I guess the United States, the building is too full. They can't process anybody, was the news I saw today. A lot of people in the current building, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Wasn't Trump tweeting at the caravan? Like they're just sitting on Twitter
just waiting to see what the president... Hey, the president mentions us.
At real Donald Trump tweeted us out.
Like, retweet.
Last week we told the tale of Mike Pence meeting Scotty Walker on the Twitterverse. First time they ever met, apparently,
right.
was
Yes.
a tweet.
Yes.
A social media bromance made in heaven. Well, Dom, Stu Man mentioned it during the news break, and we'll make a little time for Mark Pocan when he joins us on the phones. But here's the headline we can all appreciate. Mary Spacuzza reports Governor Scott Walker says he would campaign with Donald Trump if he comes to Wisconsin.
Of course he will.
Now, over the weekend, New York Times was saying that Scott Walker had no intention of campaigning with Trump. Anyways, the guest is here.
Well,
Let's take him.
You can't trust the New York Times, I'm sure.
Or
that's
Scott Walker,
what
for
Scott
that
Walker
matter.
is thinking.
Hey, I believe it's Congressman Mark Pocan. Are we ready for him? We're not quite ready.
He's still working it.
If he's here, I would imagine he's probably going to be here for a U.S. Senate candidate. Sure, I'd be with him, Walker said during an interview with conservative pundit Charlie Sykes. Where is Sykes at that he's interviewing Scott Walker?
Well, we're just going to have to tease on that one, Crudy.
Devil's advocates are right here. We're going to interview Mark Pocan right now, live via phone, my congressman. Mark, welcome back to the big show.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Mark. Good, man.
Mark, I understand you're in district this week. Sorry I wasn't able to see you at the press avail this morning, but you got lots of stuff lined up, including some town halls, Mark.
Yeah, no, we're getting around the district. Thursday, we've got a couple town halls in Iowa County and Sauk County, so in Dodgeville and in Baraboo. And otherwise, we're just traveling the district, getting to different meetings and visiting companies and things like that.
Well, perhaps I'll reach out through, is it a campaign function or a district function, Mark? I'll reach out. I'd like to attend some of the stuff, perhaps the Baraboo event later in the week.
Yeah, no, that's official. All week is official stuff. So we're just out doing in-district events.
Hey, real quick, Mark, just talking about Scott Walker. He now says if Donald Trump comes to town campaigning, he's campaigning with him. Mark, can you ever envision the day when you would stand with Donald Trump on the campaign trail?
My guess is he'll have another excuse, like he'll bump his head and create another bald spot, and he won't be able to make it or something. He just has to say he's going to do it. But I think there's a lot of Republican candidates around the country hiding from Donald Trump right now.
But how does Scott Walker do that? He effectively has embraced the Trump agenda. These guys are pretty connected at this point. How could Scott Walker renounce or run away from Donald Trump and ever hope to win re-election in a state that elected Donald Trump?
Well, Scott Walker said a lot of things that he doesn't do, so I don't think it's going to be too hard for him. I think he's earns the flexibility of hypocrisy pretty well.
He does that, sir. Got to ask you, I had something of a busy weekend, Mark. I know you were busy as well, but did you catch any of the recap of the White House Correspondents' Dinner? What'd you think of comedian Michelle Wolf? I think she nailed it, but what was your opinion?
I thought she was hilarious and made people uncomfortable in the perfect way you need to sometimes.
What about the press? There are some in the press that are kind of whining, too rough on the administration. Mark, how could not mocking the Trump administration seems like the only logical thing to do? How could you not use humor if that is your, if satire is your tool? Why could you not hammer the administration? I would have done so. Mark, some on the left and some in the press are saying she went too far. Did she go too far?
They hired a comedian, not a PhD, to present a dissertation, right? So I think you have to expect the byproduct of a comedian is humor. And if you go into it expecting humor, she did a phenomenal job. If you somehow expected something different, the press corps, again, I was invited and I did go. Let's put it that way. That's how much of a highlight it is for me. They're often self-congratulating rather than dealing with what they did. You bring a comedian in to present humor. It's a fundraiser for scholarship, and if they think it's much more than that, then that's just their own fault.
Mark, is it possible that Republicans have all become snowflakes with no sense of humor, sir?
Absolutely. Little tiny special snowflakes.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Congressman from Wisconsin, Mark Pocan, joins us on the phone. Mark, certainly an election year, Republicans, they're going to be trying to hang their hat, and they've said it, on this tax bill, how great it is for everybody. But you just retweeted out a Washington Post article, Mark, Marco Rubio, talking about the corporations, and specifically, here's what he says. He says, in fact, the corporations, they bought back shares. A few gave out bonuses. There's no evidence whatsoever that the money's been massively poured back into the American worker. Marco Rubio going perhaps against what the Republicans want as far as messaging on the tax cut. What kind of impact do you think the tax cut will have on this next election cycle?
Again, this is one where the public is really onto the Republicans. They understand that in a decade, their small tax breaks they got go away, and the corporate tax cuts and the tax cuts for the wealthy remain. 83% of the money goes to the top 1 or 2%, goes to their Republican donor base. They know what's really going on. So even if you give them a little now to try to, do a little misdirection, the public is entirely onto their scam. So I hope they continue to talk about their tax bill, because people understand who it was written for and who it wasn't, and who it wasn't written for was any of the voters in Wisconsin.
Mark, we had a candidate on the show last week, Dan Cole, running for Congress, and I saw that he was interviewed and said that he would not support Nancy Pelosi as leader of the House. He thinks it's time for perhaps some new leadership in the Democratic Party. Wanted to get your take. There was a recording done last week as well, and I don't have the names in front of me, Mark, so I do apologize. But basically, the establishment, Steny Hoyer, was getting behind one particular candidate. The other candidate, the more left candidate, recorded the conversation that they had, and they seemed to imply that, listen, the party chose this other candidate a long time ago. This is how it is. Too bad for you. I wanted to get your take on this, Mark. Do you think that there is a needed change in leadership for the Democratic Party?
And primarily that was a criticism of the DCCC, Mark.
What's your take, sir?
Right. So, when it comes to the leadership issue, I think most of us have come pretty strongly to the position that until we take the majority, all the rest of this is psychological foreplay, shall we say? Because bottom line is we've got to win the election in November, and anything that distracts us from that is going to make us less likely to take back the majority, and there's just too much riding for the American people on that. So, of course, there's conversations we all have, but honestly, I think it's a lot of wasted time and effort until we get that majority, and then after that, we're going to have those conversations and have very serious conversations. But right now, anything that distracts us from what the prize is, which is actually winning those 24 seats to win the House of Representatives, I think is not the best use of time.
And Mark, Wisconsin's own retiring Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, last week also fired the House chaplain. Mark, apparently not pleased, maybe with the level of pastoral care provided to your body. Mark, wanted to get your opinion. Were you satisfied with the level and type of pastoral care you were receiving from the House chaplain?
I'll tell you, this is one of the more bizarre stories, but, like I said, these days bizarre is normal in Congress. That somehow the Republican, and in case you can't see, my fingers are flapping, Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, fired the Catholic priest for espousing Catholic values about taking care of the poor, and now he doesn't want to say that's the reason. And again, this is just how dysfunctional we become. Instead of passing legislation that helps people, we're busy, getting rid of the chaplain based on what they say in a prayer. Only this Congress could prove to be this incompetent, and I'm glad Paul Ryan delivered once again.
My Congressman Mark Pocan on the phone for a minute or two longer. Mark, got to ask you, I got chastised last week for talking about impeachment. It's hard not to when Cohen's in the news and Russian lawyer / informant / KGB agents are in the news. But, Mark, I got to ask you, is it appropriate for us to be talking about impeachment? You talk about keeping the eye on the midterm prize. Well, isn't potentially impeachment the prize, Mark? Is it something we should be acknowledging? I've tried to follow your lead, Congressman. Am I okay talking about impeachment out here?
I think the Mueller investigation is what everyone understands is doing the responsible job, that if there is going to be impeachment, it's going to come out of the proper investigation that's happening. So again, right now with this Congress, do I expect Paul Ryan or any of the other clowns in the Shriner car to do the right thing? No. But if the Mueller investigation comes out and says what, could very likely come out of it, then I think it's a different conversation. So again, I guess, it's more of a timing thing. Let's make sure the Mueller investigation does its full course. There's probably many things that people think are impeachable that this president's done, but honestly, with this Congress, you're not going to see them happen.
Our friend and
which is why we need a different Congress.
and my fine Congressman, Mark Pocan. Thank you so much, Mark. We'll hope to see you. I'll hope to see you on Thursday. I believe it's Thursday. You're going to be in Baraboo, or is it Wednesday, Mark?
Thursday, Baraboo, 5:30 at UW Baraboo, the Science Building, and in Dodgeville, 1 o'clock Thursday in Iowa County.
I will reach out to your people, Mark Pocan. I hope to join you there. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Our good friend Mark Pocan, thanks for joining us. We'll take a quick break and come back. We'll open up the phone lines to you. Another tremendously big show. Dom, how do we keep doing it?
We're just that good.
We are that good. Come back with us. Greatest radio show ever on the other side.
First one says she got my child, but it don't look like me. I set out running, but I took my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight.
Sign on with the devil.
Can we call that treason? Why not?
Hey, Batman here. Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Hoping you'll support us as we track all that dark money that's splattering your screens with mud. You can count on us to tell you who really runs Wisconsin, and it's not Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss. They're just the water boys for the Koch brothers, WMC, the NRA, and Diane Hendricks. You can find all this out at our website at wisdc.org, and while you're there, please send us a donation so we can keep after these bad guys.
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Hey everybody, I'm Daryl Ingram of News Talk 1510 WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, and I am the Director of Advertising and Marketing. The pride of our independent stands runs deep in all that we do here at the station. The thing that I know for sure is that you can count on the quality and independent production of client advertising, mirroring the quality and independence of our fine programming here at News Talk 1510. To learn more, contact me at 414-335-0851 or via email at daryl@newstalk1510am.com.
Wisconsin Republican Attorney General Brad Schimmel claims he will further investigate the investigators of the John Doe 2 investigation because it was all a partisan witch hunt. Wisconsin State Rep Chris Taylor said this.
There is absolutely no concern expressed by this Attorney General or these Republican legislators about the underlying criminal conduct that this corruption investigation revealed. Scott Walker was breaking laws.
And Brad Schimmel fails to acknowledge the 6 criminal convictions, 4 felonies of the Scott Walker John Doe 1. Was that also a partisan witch hunt?
One newspaper has done a good job. It's a national paper, the Wall Street Journal.
And AG Schimmel filed an embarrassing hack partisan bull report where he's still looking for the leaker. Get a clue. Wasn't it Eric O'Kee from Wisconsin Club for Growth?
Well, I was born to do this.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison, many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values, building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Waiting for the sound, man. We are the Devil's Advocates on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and you can join us on the party line, 844-967-2789.
Hey, Brian, real quick, what's this song called?
MacArthur Park.
Thank you for playing it for me. I'll be at the normal march in MacArthur Park. Is that what it's called here in Milwaukee? This Saturday, 1:30 p.m. That's a long way to go for a 1-minute speech I'll be giving in the park this Saturday. Thank you, Mark Pocan. Never too far to go to hang out with my fine congressman. And tomorrow, May Day, Day Without Latinos, big action in Waukesha. Joe Costa is going to help me go live from out there, and also my guest Devil's Advocates co-hostess in your absence. And Wednesday, Don, we haven't even talked about the new show that's launching right here on WRD and WTTN on Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m. Milwaukee County Council, Maggie Dawn, is joining us on the airwaves. She's going to co-host with me on Wednesday.
Sweet.
And Mary Carroll on Thursday. If you haven't met her yet, she is a lot of fun. So, Dom, not so much that we needed more females here, although that'll be a nice touch for this sausage party.
Yes.
But, you know, I lack for hair in your absence. So I got the hair team helping me out. Joe Costa tomorrow, Maggie Dawn on Wednesday, Mary Carroll on Thursday, and MacArthur Park on Saturday. Crudy giving a 1-minute speech along with some other fine candidates. I am advocating for legalized marijuana because good people do smoke marijuana. And also got the little event up here on Brady Street tonight. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. Join me if you're a friend or want to get involved, you know, in the Crudy movement. More Devil's Advocates on the other side. Let's do a little funny is funny.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
It's hard to dream when you're fighting for 15. This is Pizza Box Mike for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Check out fightfor15.org to get involved in the fight for 15.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years. Assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Rudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local 344.org. Live via phone, he is former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
Firing Bob Mueller doesn't mean that the prosecution, the investigation goes away. Pardoning one individual does not mean that you undo everything that has been done before. So this notion that somehow by shutting down and by pardoning and by sort of stopping the process, you're also stopping the wheels of justice is simply, again, it's simply wrong.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Grassroots organization Common Ground of southeastern Wisconsin is celebrating its 10th anniversary. The group announced at a gathering yesterday that they will continue to focus on reducing gun violence and lowering unemployment. Common Ground of southeastern Wisconsin is an alliance of church congregations, religious groups, small businesses, nonprofits, schools, and neighborhood associations. The Pfister Hotel celebrates its 125th birthday tomorrow, and the Brewers got swept by the Cubs in Chicago this weekend. They now move on to Cincinnati for a 3-game series that begins this evening. Forecast for Milwaukee, sunshine and breezy today, and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows tonight in the low 50s. Mostly sunny and windy tomorrow, highs in the upper 70s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Who's to know if your soul will fade at all?
The Devil's Advocates may not agree on much, but funny is funny.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. You know, you got to have a sense of humor to be funny, Dom.
Yeah, that helps, yes.
And hopefully your skin is not too thin. Now, you know, I take some things personally, as you well know. But here's a little funny I've been tweeted at, and I think this one's got a little sense of humor about it. It says, at Whisk Onion, a newer Twitter site. Not a lot of followers yet, but a little clever here. With @Crude4Wisconsin entering the race for hashtag Wisconsin governor. At Wisdems wonder who's next. At Brett Halsey or the parrot from TV's Beretta. Hashtag Wispolitics. That's funny.
Is Halsey in? I didn't know.
I thought Halsey was in. You know, always an announced candidate. Now, whether or not he qualifies, I have not
always
seen him.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Well, he has made didn't he make the field in 14? Pretty sure he did. Qualified for the ballot. It was him and Mary Burke. You know, we did take him off the reservation. We did a solid for Mary Burke, sort of gave her the spotlight. He was walking around. We were the radio row at the DPW, as we are every year.
Yes, thank you.
And he had the Chinese hat with the red star.
Yeah.
I think he was implying Mary Burke was a communist or something.
Clear. Yeah, who knows?
So we threw him in the car and we took him off partying for a while and let Mary do her speechifying. And I still had the good fortune, or for her sake, misfortune, of being the one that greeted her as she came from the stage at the DPW. And she said, "Mike, how do you think I did?" I said, I give it a B-.
Damn, man.
And she looked at me and she's,
I mean, at least you're an honest critic.
Well, I'm a blunt one.
Do you have a sense of humor?
Do I? Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Did you think Michelle Wolf at the White House Correspondents Association dinner was funny?
I've only seen it in snippets. I got to tell you, I've watched her comedy. I think that is hilarious. I was not watching live on the C-SPAN because A, I have a life and it was Saturday night. But B, I was already at a comedy show.
Yeah, you and Trump both were not watching it. They'd rather be doing something else.
I was at a Jim Jeffries comedy show, my wife and a couple we know well. And it was a lot of fun. I was laughing my arse off all night long. And now, Dom, because I have a sense of humor, unlike the president, I think we got to share some. And you know why I think we got to share this humor? Whether or not you think it's funny, I think the way this mortifies the snowflakes on the Republican right, I think that in and of itself makes it a worthwhile exercise. In playing this, I mean, she hammered the Trump administration. Now, Donald Trump has not been back to a White House Correspondents' Dinner since he got his ass lit up by Obama from the stage. Some would imply.
He got so mad, he decided to run for president.
I'll show that Nigerian. Anyways, let's jump into it, because I know the righties hate that some comedian went out there and insulted their president. And they so mischaracterized what she said. Like, anyways, let's play some of it. If you didn't have the benefit of watching the C-SPANs on Saturday night, watching it live, let's play many of the funnies, and you tell us, is it funny? You can tell us. 844-967-2789, toll free, or text. Just text. That was a funny one, or B-. Let's get started. Fancy Brian. Cut number 80, Michelle Wolf. Let's talk about porn stars.
Like a porn star says when she's about to have sex with a Trump, let's get this over with.
Yes, that's funny.
Let's get started. I believe, another 80, or let's call this one 81?
The next one.
The next one.
I'm going to skip a lot of the normal pleasantries. We're at a Hilton. It's not nice. This is on C-SPAN. No one watches that. Trump is president. It's not ideal. The White House Correspondents' Association, thank you for having me. The monkfish was fine.
I always skip the fish at those large.
Yeah, never.
I'd rather have the rubber chicken, but let's continue.
You're best sticking with bread, butter, and a salad. Let's keep going. Cut 82, Brian.
And just a reminder to everyone, I'm here to make jokes. I have no agenda. I'm not trying to get anything accomplished. So everyone that's here from Congress, you should feel right at home.
Ooh.
Now, she was pretty clear on the front end. I'm a comedian. I tell jokes. These are the funnies. But Republicans, just because you tell them it's a joke, they don't get it.
Well, that's the nice thing about humor. Sometimes it's a joke, but it's also true.
It's only funny if there is some truth to the jokes. Otherwise, they fall like a lead balloon, like when you tell them.
Let's keep going. Cut 83.
I'm 32 years old, which is an odd age. 10 years too young to host this event, and 20 years too old for Roy Moore.
That's a pretty good one. Come on.
Terribly good. Yes, of course. Let's keep going.
And I know, as much as some of you might want me to, it's 2018 and I'm a woman, so you cannot shut me up. Unless you have Michael Cohen wire me $130,000. Michael, you can find me on Venmo under my porn star name, Reince Priebus.
Come on, that's pretty good. Let's keep going. Michelle Wolf, White House Correspondents' Dinner, cut 85.
Now, people are saying America is more divided than ever. But I think no matter what you support politically, we can all agree that this is a great time for craft stores. Because of all the protests, poster board has been flying off the shelves faster than Robert Mueller can say, "You've been subpoenaed."
She kind of stepped on that one. I'm giving her a B- on that joke. Let's keep going. Talking about the pink hats, Dom. Cut 86, Michelle Wolf.
And thanks to Trump, pink yarn sales are through the roof. After Trump got elected, women started knitting those hats. When I first saw them, I was like, that's a I guess mine just has a lot more yarn on it. It is kind of crazy that the Trump campaign was in contact with Russia when the Hillary campaign wasn't even in contact with Michigan.
Oh,
at least she didn't say Wisconsin. I'm like,
yeah,
I heard the joke and I'm like, don't say Wisconsin. Don't say Wisconsin.
Come on, we need some local love.
Let's keep going. Michelle Wolf, digging in on Trump here a bit. Cut 88 next, I believe.
Of course, Trump isn't here, if you haven't noticed. He's not here. And I know I would drag him here myself, but it turns out the President of the United States is the one you're not allowed to grab.
Yes. And I think she made some reference like, well, he started it. He said it. You know, this is something that he said.
That's not the way Republican snowflakes are going to hear it, Dom. They're going to be very vilified because it's very bad when a comedian says it. Just fine when the president says it. Let's keep going. Cut
But I
49.
think we should give the president credit when he deserves it. Like, he pulled out of the Paris Agreement. And I think he should get credit for that because he said he was going to pull out, and then he did, and that's a refreshing quality in a man.
I got to be honest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
People call Trump names all the time. And look, I could call Trump a racist or a misogynist or xenophobic or unstable or incompetent or impotent. But he's heard all of those and he doesn't care. So tonight, I'm going to try to make fun of the president in a new way, in a way that I think will really get him. Mr. President, I don't think you're very rich. Like, I think you might be rich in Idaho, but in New York, you're doing fine.
That's going to sting a little.
Well,
the man's always been
right. Yes, he doesn't care about any of those. Well, he cares less.
Light himself on the
other things
on the Forbes list.
It's all about the money because that's how this man measures himself, as a success or not, whether or not he got money.
Well, I hope it's not by penis size because he's inadequate, I hear.
Trump is the only person that still watches Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and thinks me. Although I'm not sure you'd get very far. He'd get to like the third question and be like, I have to phone a Fox and friend.
How broke is he?
All right? Trump is so broke. How broke is he? He has to fly failed business class. Trump is so broke. How broke is he? He looked for foreign oil in Don Jr.'s hair. Trump is so broke. How broke is he? Southwest used him as one of their engines. I know, it's so soon. It's so soon for that joke. Why did she tell it? It's so soon. Trump is so broke. He had to borrow money from the Russians, and now he's compromised and not susceptible to blackmail and possibly responsible for the collapse of the Republic. Yay! It's a fun game.
That's a good one to end this segment on. Let's take a short break.
Are you offended yet?
No.
No, I'm not offended.
I say worse almost every day.
Any Republicans, any conservatives, anybody out there offended, please give us a call. Let us know your thoughts.
Oh, we offend somebody every day.
I don't believe it. 844-967-2789.
I don't think I ever offend, but I'm pretty sure that is your job.
No, man. I'm supposed to sit here and look good.
No, you're the good cop. Oh, yeah. That makes me the bad cop.
Yes.
Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates right here on Wisconsin's only Resistance Radio Network, 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee, 1580 Columbus, Madison.
Good God, you're coming up with reasons. Good God, you're dragging it out. Good God, it's the changing of the season. I feel so right, man. Follow me down. Just fake it if you're out of direction. Fake it if you don't belong here. Fake it.
Does this mean we're not friends anymore?
We're going to be friends for a long, long period of time.
If I thought you weren't my friend, I just don't think I could bear it. My hypocrisy goes only so far.
Hi, I'm Mike Crute, and I'm running as a Democrat to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. Please join me at the Roman Coin, 104 East Brady Street, Monday, April 30th, 6 to 9 p.m., for a private campaign launch party for all my friends. We'll serve some of the East Side's finest dark. We're all Badgers. Come join the party Monday, April 30th at the Roman Coin. This commercial paid for by Crute for Wisconsin. Find us at cruteforwisconsin.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in the former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I got to tell you, so when I first moved to Green Bay to play football in 92, I had never been to Wisconsin. But the funniest thing I thought, you could not buy hamburger patties without a dollop of butter on them.
Folks, just so you know, if you take a little bit of herb butter and put it in the middle of a patty and just kind of mold it around there, you get magic.
I have one of my arteries right now.
How much did you say you weighed?
I'm gaining weight with my thoughts right now.
You're $3 bills and some change already, brother.
Guns, butter, economics.
414 Wisconsin, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA not only in my state but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
The Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also streaming live video on YouTube and Facebook. The Twitter feed is at Devil Radio. And the party line to call or text 844-967-2789.
Dominic, plenty of big show ahead. State Rep Katrina Shankland, a fine Dem, joins us at 4:30. Also, Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director of Voces de la Frontera, going to talk about the big May Day March in Waukesha tomorrow. But Dominic, back to the funny. Back to the insulted snowflake Trump administration and sympathetic Republicans. Like, you don't say worse about the man when he ain't around.
All right.
I mean, really, you guys are insulted. So far, this has been, I would give it a B+, A-. Pretty solid comedy.
I'd go with a B+. I mean, a couple weren't too funny, but humor is humor. I haven't heard her make any jokes about someone's physical appearance or the race or ethnicity or religion or any of those things yet.
You know, I've been seeking desperately a funny Republican. I think I've almost got Dennis Miller booked. He's coming to town.
I thought you said a funny Republican.
Well, he also very undies in a bundle about this Michelle Wolf at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday night. If it bothers them so much, we should play more.
Let's do it.
Where'd we let off? I think we're
at the Nazi.
Cut 93.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Nazis.
Calling a Nazi a white nationalist is like calling a pedophile a kid friend. Or Harvey Weinstein a ladies' man.
Oh, gee.
Too far?
They're jokes.
Michelle Wolf talking guns and teachers, cut 94.
He wants to give teachers guns, and I support that, because then they can sell them for things they need, like supplies.
Yes, amen, sister.
How about Dominic's buddy Mike, party till you puke Pence? What's Michelle Wolf think about him? Play cut 95.
Mike Pence is what happens when Anderson Cooper isn't gay. Mike Pence is the kind of guy that brushes his teeth and then drinks orange juice and thinks,
That's nasty. Let's keep going. Abortion.
And yeah, sure, you can groan all you want. I know a lot of you are very anti-abortion, unless it's the one you got for your secret mistress. It's fun how values can waver. But good for you. Mike Pence is a weirdo, though. He's a weird little guy. He won't meet with other women without his wife present. When people first heard this, they were like, that's crazy. But now in this current climate, they're like, that's a good witness.
Right. What about Bear Stearns?
I worked in a lot of male-dominated fields. Before comedy, I worked at a tech company. And before that, I worked on Wall Street. And honestly, I've never really been sexually harassed. That being said, I did work at Bear Stearns in 2008. So although I haven't been sexually harassed, I've definitely been... Yeah, that whole company went down on me without my consent. And no men got in trouble for that one either.
What about Al Franken? What about the Me Too? Let's keep going. Michelle Wolf, Saturday night, cut 99.
Al Franken was ousted. That one really hurt liberals. But I believe it was the great Ted Kennedy who said, wow, that's crazy. I murdered a woman.
Oh, damn. She's honest.
Apparently, Democrats not spared her wrath.
Well, that's okay.
Do you think there were some moans from the D section as well?
I guarantee it.
I don't think they get celebrities at those things anymore. I don't even think Chachi showed up. Let's keep going. We got a few more minutes in this segment. Let's play Michelle Wolf, Saturday night, cut 100.
Mitch McConnell isn't here tonight. He had a prior engagement. He's finally getting his neck circumcised. Mazel. Paul Ryan also couldn't make it. Of course, he's already been circumcised. Unfortunately, while they were down there, they also took his balls. Now, Republicans are easy to make fun of. It's like shooting fish in a Chris Christie.
All right, now there is a physical reference, I guess, barrel, right? So you because I'm trying to find out, right? Because people always say, don't make fun of the physical attributes of people.
You be quiet, Shorty.
Okay, Baldy.
Let's keep going, Fancy Brian.
You guys gotta stop putting Kellyanne on your shows. All she does is lie. If you don't give her a platform, she has nowhere to lie. It's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods, how do we get Kellyanne under that tree? I'm not suggesting she gets hurt, just stuck. Incidentally, a tree falls in the woods is Scott Pruitt's definition of porn. There's also, of course, Ivanka. She was supposed to be an advocate for women, but it turns out she's about as helpful to women as an empty box of tampons. She does clean up nice, though. Ivanka cleans up nice. She's the diaper genie of the administration. On the outside, she looks sleek, but the inside, it's still full of shit.
All right, let's skip to the last one here, bro. I'm going to try to jam them all in.
You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? Because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him. I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you. He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college or ties or Eric. But he has helped you. He's helped you sell your papers and your books and your TV. You helped create this monster, and now you're profiting off of him. And if you're gonna profit off of Trump, you should at least give him some money because he doesn't have any. Trump is so broke, he grabs p***s because he thinks there might be loose change in them. All right, like an immigrant who was brought here by his parents and didn't do anything wrong. I gotta get the f*** out of here. Good night.
Maybe one less profanity and drop the mic. That's hilarious.
And Flint still doesn't have clean drinking water. I think she ended with a Flint comment, didn't she? Yeah, we didn't have that one. Yeah. And we didn't play them all, obviously. But
I blame big, ugly, fancy Brian.
I am not
ugly and hurt.
I'm not offended.
For a big guy, you're quite handsome, though.
I don't know what the issue is. So what? They're jokes. She made fun of Democrats. She made fun of Republicans. She made fun of the press. Yeah, sometimes a little truth hurts people.
Yeah, some people get all panties in a bundle when they listen to this fine show, and we can tell you that we are quite confident this is the greatest radio show ever.
Sometimes you got to make them eat the broccoli, man. That's what I'm saying.
And if you don't agree with us, it's you, not us. Because we think we're super cool, and I think you should as well. Come back with us. The 4 o'clock hour is next. State Rep Katrina Shankland, a fine dim. Christine Neumann-Ortiz joins us here in the happy hour from Voces de la Frontera. And, of course, perhaps more time for humor, Dom. And, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going to tell you all about the 2nd Congressional District gubernatorial straw poll and the 93 voting delegates. And what it means to all of you. Probably very little, but come back anyways. Hour 2 is next.
Regano's Roman coin.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values, building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Hi, I'm Becky with Bounce Milwaukee, a progressive, local, family-owned entertainment center. We just want to remind you what it's like to be a kid again. Come on in for all ages fun. Bounce in our giant inflatables, race up the rock wall, dominate your friends in laser tag, or just relax in our bar or our massage chairs. Open 6 days a week with extended adult-only weekend hours. Find us at bouncemilwaukee.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin.
Israel says it has the goods on Iran. President Trump says he was right. I'm Mike Moss. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is providing what he calls proof that Iran has been running an undercover nuclear program in defiance of an international agreement to halt the program.
So these files conclusively prove that Iran is brazenly lying when it says it never had a nuclear weapons program.
Correspondent Jeff Salony says President Trump was pleased with the Israeli claim.
The president was indeed watching that.
told from just off the Oval Office. He agrees with Benjamin Netanyahu about this entirely. They had a phone call over the weekend. On Saturday they spoke. President stopping short of saying exactly what he was going to do, but listening to him in the Rose Garden certainly seemed, and all signs are pointing to the fact that he does plan to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
President Trump says that he may favor the heavily fortified border between North and South Korea for his proposed summit with North Korea's dictator Kim Jong-un. Trump said, "There's something that I like about meeting with the border at the demilitarized zone because you're there." The porn actress Stormy Daniels is suing the president for defamation about his comments over her claims of having been threatened.
Donald Trump reacted, saying this guy's non-existent, and called it a con job. Well, her attorney, Michael Avenatti, put in court papers that was defamatory, that it damaged her, and that a jury will decide what will happen, but it has to be damages of more than $75,000.
That's correspondent Sarah Seidner. About 200 asylum seekers in a caravan of Central Americans are not being allowed to turn themselves in to U.S. border inspectors for a second straight day. Customs and Border Protection says the San Diego border crossing facility has now reached the point of no openings. The Dow finished down 148. I'm Mike.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property, or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009, or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
I'm State Representative Jocasta Zamaripa.
And I'm Joel Clayfish.
Listen to us on the Joel and Jocasta Show, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
She's a Latina woman from the inner city of Milwaukee, and I'm a white guy from the suburbs. Diversity in the white guy. You are not going to believe what you hear on this show. I'm telling you, you're going to have to listen. News Talk, 1510 a.m., WRRD.
Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
If you can't make it to the UK for Prince Harry's marriage to actress Meghan Markle next month, hotels here in the U.S. have a few alternatives.
Meghan Markle's character on Suits dreamed she'd be married at the Plaza in New York, so the Real Life Hotel plans to go virtual and live stream the wedding at a champagne breakfast. The Drake in Chicago will host a luncheon with a menu served nearly 20 years ago when the groom's mother, Princess Diana, stayed there. One can even book the suite Diana stayed in. But a lot of this can be fairly spendy. The Windsor Court Hotel in New Orleans package is priced at $51,918. The numbers on the bill tailored to match the wedding date. I'm Jan Johnson.
Sprint and T-Mobile are talking up their $27 billion merger as great for high-speed wireless. But consumer groups argue it will lead to higher prices as a result of reduced competition for carriers. I'm Mike Moss.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. The National Weather Service has issued an elevated fire danger warning for southeastern Wisconsin. The combination of warm temperatures, dry air, and high winds highly increase the chances for a fire to burn out of control quickly. The Department of Natural Resources said there were about 30 fires burning around the state yesterday. And reconstruction of West Wisconsin Avenue begins today. That work will narrow the street down to one lane in each direction from 20th Street to 38th Street. The project is expected to last about 6 months. Forecast for Milwaukee, sunshine and breezy today, and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows tonight in the low 50s. Mostly sunny and windy tomorrow, highs in the upper 70s. And then for Wednesday, a 40% chance of rain with highs in the low 70s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, we're looking forward to being joined live via phone by State Rep Katrina Shankland, a fine Dem from the 71st Assembly District. We'll talk to Katrina at 4:30. But in the meantime, Dom, I got some news to break. Not exactly breaking news, but I was a part of this news, and I think it's worthy of note. Not because I'm the biggest part. I figure... just a minute part of the story. 2nd Congressional District Democratic Convention was Saturday. And the Dems did a little speed dating event with the gubernatorial candidates. And there were a number of the candidates in attendance. I saw Dana Wachs. I saw Matt Flynn. I saw Andy Gronick. I saw Kelda Royce. I looked in the mirror. I saw yours truly. Malin Mitchell was there. Other candidates represented by surrogates. I saw former Lieutenant Governor Barb Lawton, one of my favorite people. She was there for Tony Evers. Give me a hug. But surrogated for Tony Evers. Christine Welker, who I believe is the 2nd Congressional District Chairperson. She also a member of the Mike McCabe campaign. She was there. Others, I suspect, Paul Soglin, who I believe resides in the 2nd Congressional District, like myself. No surrogate, no show.
No call, no show?
Apparently. Maybe I'm absolutely wrong, but unless someone was... I don't think Paul Soglin, the mayor of Madison, had any surrogate, although he's declared himself a candidate. Now, the winner! And I would say there was a winner that day, and it was not yours truly.
So what's the process here? Before you go through and tell me all about the winner, how does this work?
93 eligible delegates to vote. The straw poll was just amongst the voting delegates at the 2nd Congressional District. My understanding is effectively, I don't know if you had to reside in the district, but you could give $20 and you could attend. And I think, your little donation to the local Dem party qualified you as a delegate. They had other stuff going on during the course of the day. Mandela Barnes, I would point out, Mandela killed it that day. 3 lieutenant gubernatorial candidates in the straw poll, and Mandela got 72%. So at least in the 2nd Congressional District, Mandela looking extremely strong. But of course, we got a very fractured field amongst the Dem gubernatorial field.
When you got 19, you don't have anybody.
Well, I've heard someone say that. And so anyways, they did a speed dating. Effectively, they broke into groups of, let's call it 10, 9 tables of 10 people approximately. And each of the candidates that was represented, like 8 different surrogated or attending candidates, no, I guess there were 9, we each had a table. And we did round robin. And you had like 8 minutes to kind of speak your piece. And some could pepper you with questions. And I saw a few people, clearly, I think I'm a McCabe guy, and I didn't resent him for it, but he starts peppering me with McCabe's policy. And I'm thinking, well, why don't you ask Mike McCabe? Because I'm Mike Crute, and I'm not here to answer for his policy choices.
Mike.
And at some point I had to say, you know what? I'm going to advocate for my positions. I'm not going to defend his. But I'm sure there was a little gamesmanship that went on in the room. Let me point out something. The real straw poll, the real lottery in the room should have been for who got to campaign and kiss the cutest little baby I've ever seen, man. Back of the room, I'm standing in the back. I'm waiting for the little speed dating to get started. And there was like a super cute baby, like central casting cute baby straight out of Hollywood. And I'm making faces at this baby, and I'm thinking, you know, any smart candidate needs to like kiss that baby, be in a picture with that baby. You know what I didn't know at the time? That was Kelda Royce's baby.
That kid is so adorable. When she was in here, was a week or two ago when I did the interview with her. She brought her mom and her youngest, and that kid is just adorable.
And very smiley, and made faces at me, you know, in a smiling, happy sort of way. And I even had to ask Kelda permission. I'm like, can I say hi to your baby? And I like grabbed her little toes. She gave me permission first. I'm like, I don't want to touch the baby without permission. But that's a hell of a cute baby. Now, Kelda Royce did very well. And I've got the results of the 2nd Congressional District Dem Convention.
Okay, to recap. If you showed
93 delegates, you paid the $20.
$20, you got just now
whatever their eligible criterion was.
Sat in the table, right? You got to ask
and you
questions,
got the speed date,
and then you voted afterwards.
And then, or I suspect many of them had actually voted before they even went to the speed dating, because the voting closed like while speed dating was still going on. And I didn't see anybody like getting up and panicking during the court. Like, oh, I've changed my mind. Yeah, there was none of that going on.
All right.
So I had near the back table, near the polling station, I was kind of watching for late votes. Saw a few late votes, but I suspect many in the room had minds made up before, you know, I had my opportunity to meet with them. And I would say, understand, these are the Dem insiders from the 2nd Congressional District. If they haven't been paying attention to the politics, who has, right?
Right.
So anyways, here is the results of that straw poll. And I would say if there was a winner in the room that day, Kelda Royce, 28 votes, which equates to roughly 30% of all the votes. Mike McCabe, let's not forget, his chair is also the chair of the 2nd Congressional District. Mike not there, but I would have suspected if I had to pick a strong candidate, I'd have said Mike McCabe's day. And 19%, you know, I'm not saying he underperformed, but I think if he'd have been in the room, he could have garnered a few more percentage. Kathleen Beinhout, also absent, although I believe she had surrogates, 16%. So as I'm doing the math, Dom, you got 2 female candidates and like 14 dudes, at least, well, let's call it 7 or 8 dudes. And the 2 female candidates garnered 46% of the delegate votes at this particular straw poll. Now, Tony Evers, as I mentioned, Barb Lawton, his surrogate there, 12%. Dana Walks attended in person. He, you know, with the steely blue eyes, Dana did his own surrogating. Dana got 10%. Andy Gronick, who was there as well, 4%. Malin Mitchell, he was in attendance, 3%. Yours truly, my first time seeing my name in lights, Dom, 2% at the straw poll. Matt Flynn, who was there, 1%. And Paul, don't call him Mayor Grumpy Pants Soglin, who was not in attendance, no surrogate, no call, no show, 1% for Paul Soglin.
So you had twice as many voters as Flynn or Soglin.
I had as many as all of Flynn and Soglin's put together.
All right,
if you want
congratulations.
to, well, hardly an overperformance. 2% is, you know, I would have liked to have done better, but considering it was my first one. Now, here's a little lesson I learned, Tom. Maybe it wasn't entirely organic support, meaning that maybe Kelda Royce doesn't have 28 supportive delegates on a given day in the 2nd Congressional District, at least not that would normally
as
show up at the party meeting for the month. But I still think, even if Kelda, let's call it, I don't want to say stuffed the ballot box, but turned out her delegates, well, I would say that's a sign of organizational strength.
Yeah, sure.
It will to be seen whether or not she can replicate that act. 5th Congressional District Convention this Sunday. I'm not sure if they have a straw poll. I will be there. Here's what I've learned, this Sunday, I'm going before the speed dating or whatever their little speaking event will be. I'm going to actually give people an opportunity to meet me before they vote. I think I might do better in that circumstance.
Yeah, possibly.
But I would say the only one that outperformed the room that day, to my opinion, was Kelda Royce. And when it was announced, and I put up the video, I can acknowledge she won the day. The crowd, very enthusiastic, very girl-powered crowd that cheered for her. And I just thought, well, I wonder how many of these are friends of hers through politics. She lives in this area. She lives in the second, I do believe. I wonder how many of these are girlfriends or whatever, and it doesn't matter. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if her campaign is organized enough to turn out her delegates, good for her. I mean, with very little polling and very little way of knowing for sure who's strong in this race, well, at least she gave people a sense that she can turn out her delegates.
Sure.
As I said, we'll see if she can do it again. But I would question, if you're one of the other candidates who's been in the race 6 months, 8 months, a year, how do you not show up with some of your own delegates? How do you get shut down to 1 or 2 or 4%? I mean, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't even know I could show up with buddies and try to get them on the thing. So if you're a friend of mine and you are part of the Jefferson County, the 5th Congressional District.
5th. So you could
I sure do hope you
reach
come
out and get folks ahead of time.
I'm encouraging them now.
$20 a pop. Go show up, vote for me, and see how we do.
Or whoever is the best candidate in the room. But to my opinion, that will be me. But yeah, if you want to win, you better show up with your delegates. But I'm not at all convinced that that is a reflection of the overall population of the state of Wisconsin. Up at the Crazy Legs run, went up there on Saturday morning, tried to get some ballot signatures, all trying to qualify for the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Bumped into some fine people, actually some fans. A couple of them were, hey, I love you, Cutie. Oh, why the Vinehound hat? Oh, I love Kathleen more. They're out getting signatures for different people. People that know us.
Man, right.
No, it wasn't personal. I didn't take it personal. And I, in fact, said, love me some Kathleen Vinehound. There's many fine candidates in this race. But the general population, they're not plugged in like the rest of us, not like those that listen to the devil's advocates. And we still have to get the word out, and we will continue to get the word out. And I put it to you this way, Dom. This Saturday, May 5th, let's not throw it into fall already.
No.
The MacArthur Park, there will be 5 or 6 gubernatorial candidates marching for pro-cannabis, for pro-legalization of marijuana.
Will Walker be there?
I doubt it. Phil Anderson, a libertarian, will be there. I'll be there. Andy Groenick, Kelda Royce, Mike McCabe, I believe, will be there. Matt Flynn, I'm sure, will be there. He's a Milwaukeean. You could be there. MacArthur Park, about 1:30. I'll be speaking. And next Saturday, a week from Saturday, May 12th, a gubernatorial debate of sorts, the topic educators amplified. 9 gubernatorial candidates, 3 an hour, head-to-head. It is a made-for-broadcast event. It's going to be spectacular. Hope you catch that one as well. 12 to 3 on May 12th. Come back. More Devil's Advocates.
This is more work than in my previous life. I thought it would be easier.
I will do anything it takes to win, even if it means lying or physically hurting someone.
Hey, easy. Put that down.
Or branding myself with a coat hanger in the shape of a V for victory. It's a baby!
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Do you love public education? Do you want to support your schools? Then you should support the people who make them work. You should support teachers and their unions. Teachers' working conditions are students' learning conditions, and when the school bell rings, it is crucial that teachers do not check their rights at the door. The ability to organize and advocate around issues that improve the quality of a teacher's workplace will increase opportunities for students and make schools safer for everyone. Stand with teachers, stand with WEAC Region 7.
My name is Adam Holmes, and I'm proud to be union.
Adam, you're Director of Training for Painters District Council 7. What do you do?
I'm making sure that we're investing in our members. We're providing the safest and best trained painters, glazers, drywall finishers, and trade show workers in the industry, and we also do that at no cost to the taxpayers.
Why hire unions?
Because it costs less to be safe. We keep the contractor on the right side of OSHA and help keep the workmen's comp rates affordable. Join us, Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
The Devil's Advocates, rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
Do, re, mi. The first three notes just happen to
Terrible.
So we need to bring down.
I can see listeners dropping off. Let's get some callers before we lose everybody. Betsy from Madison, you're up. Thanks for calling.
That will bring us back to do.
Terrible.
Hey, at least we didn't do Edelweiss. Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years, assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's three easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The Devil's Advocates, because it's always 420 somewhere.
It's the time of the season.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming live video on the YouTube and Facebook pages. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the party line open for your calls, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, State Rep Katrina Shankland joining us soon on the phones. A fine guest, a good dim. Can't wait. Want to mention one more time, May 12th, a Made for Radio event. This one, a spectacular Educators Amplified WEAC Region 7 MTEA, educational focused gubernatorial forum. And rather than giving 9 people one microphone and letting them pass it around, each hour will represent sort of a mini debate. 3 hours, 3 candidates enter, 1 candidate leaves. Dr. Tim Slecker, the Edgewood College Dean of Education, the host right here on WRD 1510 AM. He does Busted Pencil. Educated educators talking about education.
He's a smart dude.
He's a hell of a smart guy. And Dr. Tim, I don't think it's going to go very easy on any of these candidates. He's looking for real answers. So Dr. Tim will moderate. Our own Earl Ingram Jr. will be the host. That will be 12 to 3 p.m. in Educators Amplified gubernatorial, whatever they're calling it, party, debate, forum. And I will be on the stage between 12 and 1 p.m. with Kelda Royce and Tony Evers. And the only candidate, and she had a conflict, my understanding, was Vinehout. But everybody else of note, Soglin, Flynn, Gronick, Mitchell, McCabe, I don't want to forget anyone, all the rest. Gilligan, Marianne, the skipper.
The 3-hour tour.
They're all going to be there in three candidate
chunks.
increments, and they're all going to have to answer in the audience at the Miramar Theater. That place holds 300. If you want to be there, you better show up a little bit early. I no guarantees, but I bet that will be a sellout as the admission is free, and there is tons and tons of interest in this event because nothing to date has been anything like this. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to the event, Dom, both as a station owner, a listener, and perhaps even as a participant.
Yeah, Slucker does a great job. I encourage everyone, if you cannot go listen to that show, it'll be something special here on WRD.
And just for the record, for my friend Ted Craig over at Citizens Action, yes, I filed my paperwork. I listened to the Battleground Wisconsin. I was up in the Dells listening to the 1580 signal this weekend. He's like, yeah, and Mike Crude, I'm not even sure if he's dropped his paperwork. I'm thinking, then why was I invited to the debate? Yes, I did that.
You're official.
I am official.
All right.
I still have to qualify for the ballot, as do they all, but that doesn't happen until June 1st, and that'll be the next massive event, the Democratic Party of Wisconsin Convention. Dom, I'm just telling you, that will be an extravaganza of 2 days, and we will do our normal Radio Row on Friday night. I hope that Mary Carroll can do our Saturday morning coverage, and Earl's going to be at the Legislative Bratfest. My understanding, 99 legislative candidates are going to be with Earl.
Nice.
Earl will try to beat them all. You know how he is.
Right.
12 to 3, that'll be a union-sponsored, sort of a, and after the DPW, that broadcast will go out right here between 12 and 3 on Saturday, June 2nd. So it's going to be a huge, really big month.
Yeah, the summer season's just starting.
The elective season's just warming up.
And the summer, all the festivals, everything coming up that we haven't got on the board yet.
Oh, Brady Street.
Oh, Brady Street, Locust Street.
Juneteenth.
Pride Fest. I mean, there's tons of things that we haven't nailed down yet.
This is going to be the greatest summer ever. It's the time of the season, Dom. It's party time. It's festival time. It's gubernatorial candidate forum time right here on WRD, Wisconsin's only resistance radio network, WTTN, Columbus, Madison, and then we got the Waukesha, Milwaukee, the 1510 a.m. We got a fine state rep joining us next. She's Katrina Shankland. She's a friend of ours. She's a good Dem from the 71st Assembly District. Think Central State. Don, do we cover that? I'm not sure if we get quite that far north, but I can't wait to go on the college campus tour, Dom. I think we got to get the word out about legalized marijuana. Good people do smoke marijuana. And I got to think there's some people on campus that might appreciate our avocation for that position.
We're going to go back to lacrosse?
Oh, you know it, man.
Yeah.
Broadcasted live on 3rd Street. I'll be up on the world's largest six-pack. I'll be drinking it. Shotgun. Right back at you, kid. About more Devil's Advocates. Katrina Shankland joins us next.
I mean, you punched that baby.
Is anyone asking how my hand feels after punching that iron-like jaw of that baby?
How was your hand?
I can't even make a fist.
Ugh.
I tell you right now, though, I'm so angered by seeing that, I wish I could go out and punch that baby again.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
The Devil's Advocates.
Tom Perez, chair of the Democratic National Committee. Scott Walker went on something of a Twitter storm, very Trumpian. What do you think this foretells for Scott Walker's future as the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Wisconsinites have woken up. He talked about we need an optimistic message. How can you make people feel optimistic when you take away their health care? How can you make people optimistic when you take away the right to bargain? How can you make people feel optimistic when you're gerrymandering the heck out of districts?
Radio for the 99%.
The bridge is out, and there are scat holes everywhere. Come on. What's wrong with you? Listen to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
On marijuana, unfortunately, it's a public health issue and a public safety issue. I've opposed that.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, how can medical marijuana help those addicted to opioids?
There's three big things. There's clear consensus now that cannabis can treat pain. That is not an opinion. That is a consensus conclusion by big scientific bodies like the National Academy of Science. We also know that it can help treat the withdrawal symptoms of opioids. People, they don't want to be on them anymore. They want to quit, but they develop the terrible withdrawal symptoms. And now we have evidence that it can actually help heal the part of the brain that is diseased in someone who's an opioid addict. If you had to start from scratch and design a substance to help lead us out of the opioid epidemic, like in a lab, it would probably look very much like cannabis.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212. Tell him good people do smoke marijuana. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Governor Walker said today he would campaign with Donald Trump if the president comes to Wisconsin. The governor made the comment at the Midwest Conservative Summit being held in Milwaukee today. The governor said he expects Trump to campaign for the U.S. Senate race and would happily join him. And Milwaukee's Milorganite fertilizer now has a different odor than it has had in the past. And the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District isn't sure why that is. Officials say they are investigating to find out why the product now has a solvent-like smell. Forecast for Milwaukee: sunshine and breezy today, and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows tonight in the low 50s. Mostly sunny and windy tomorrow, highs in the upper 70s. And then for Wednesday, a 40% chance of rain with highs in the low 70s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The Devil's Advocates, so relevant they have 1 foot in tomorrow.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, joined by a fine guest live via phone. Right now, she's State Rep Katrina Shankland. She's a friend of ours from the 71st Assembly District. Katrina, it's been too long. Welcome back to the big show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Katrina.
Well, Katrina, you posted an op-ed, and I saw it published at the Cap Times over the course of the weekend. It's entitled, "It's Time to Renew the Wisconsin Idea." Katrina, first and foremost, for those that are unaware, what is the Wisconsin Idea, and why do Republicans keep attacking it?
Well, the Wisconsin Idea was established in the early 1900s, and the idea was that the boundaries of the campuses were artificial boundaries, and that of all the UW institutions, they would not only help communities thrive, but also build on their successes through research and partnerships and building local economies. So the Wisconsin Idea has been widely cherished and held as a dear belief by most people throughout Wisconsin over the past 100-plus years. And since Governor Walker has taken over, we've actually seen him lead the charge on not only weakening and eroding the Wisconsin Idea, but he actually tried to completely do away with it in 2015 in his budget. So I've been very disturbed by what I would call the corporatization of higher education and the Republican-led efforts to make it just about one single job training instead of actually growing young minds and young leaders into the next generation of leaders and people who will lead our state, hopefully, to better prosperity than we have now.
Katrina, why do Republicans treat higher education like it's simply a vocational training exercise? It's not there to expand one's horizons, per se. They attack the humanities. In fact, a university very close or in your district, UW-Stevens Point, I think, is case in point for some of the destructive tendencies. I mean, they talk about, these aren't the popular majors. These won't get you paid. But, some people aspire to do something more than simply get paid in life. Katrina, I want you to talk about sort of the Republican attitude about higher ed.
Absolutely. So we have seen in the past 6 months, both UW-Superior and UW-Stevens Point have had exactly $4.5 million budget deficit. And that's due to the tremendous budget cuts that we have seen to gut the university system over the past 8 years under the Republican administration and Governor Walker. And they have been taking away programs and eliminating and suspending programs like sociology, art, journalism, political science, philosophy, English. And there has been a lot of blowback. And that's because a lot of these students are saying, not only do these jobs serve humanity and make us more well-rounded human beings who are capable of thinking, not just learning one thing, but being able to think for themselves throughout their lives, but also these actually are a highly demanded field. So, for example, if you look at English at UW-Stevens Point, which is one of the majors being proposed to be eliminated, it has the 4th highest enrollment in the state across UW institutions, and it has 100% job placement. Philosophy at UW-Stevens Point, there are only 8 fewer students who are enrolled in the degree program there than there are at UW-Madison, 2nd highest enrolled in the state. A lot of those philosophy majors go on to be attorneys, and we have an attorney shortage in central and northern Wisconsin, just as we have a teacher shortage. So to cut programs like geography, history, art, you're basically saying we don't need social studies teachers, we don't need art teachers, we don't need foreign language teachers. They're also cutting several foreign language programs and the majors within them. So that, to me, speaks to what I would call an attack on higher education access. And what we're hearing from people is, and I've heard it from, for example, the Republican co-chair of the Joint Finance Committee, well, they can just go to another institution. Okay, but that is counter to the exact point of the Wisconsin idea, which is that every institution would serve all the students in their backyards so that you wouldn't have to be priced out of education. UW-Stevens Point is much more affordable than UW-Madison, and I've heard from a lot of students here who said they'd never be able to go to a different institution, and part of why they chose UWSP was because of college affordability. So I really think this is about not only preparing our young people for jobs of the future, but making sure that we're not just training them for one job, but any job. The average college major, the average college student, I should say, switches majors 5 to 7 times, and the average young adult switches jobs 11 times. So why in the world would we only do vocational training at a university for one job when we're training these young people to adapt to any job? And that's exactly why we have Fortune 500 companies and CEOs and tech giants all looking at liberal arts degrees, because they can hire people with grit and adaptability and flexibility and communication skills, which is what liberal arts degrees really help people develop.
Katrina, I got to ask you about regular old K through 12 education here in the state of Wisconsin. Polling, I believe Marquette University Law School poll I saw most recently, we saw the percentage of Wisconsin residents that think we should expend more money towards the schools go from 45 to 63%, I believe. Now, I know Scott Walker's throwing some money back in after, decimating the schools in many ways. But I've got to ask you, in your column, in your piece, you reference voucher schools. I personally, Katrina, think it's been a failed experiment. I would like to know from your perspective, are we under any sort of mandate to continue with voucher schools, or is it possible with different governance that we could do something different, perhaps even roll back the diversion of public resources to a second, let's call it private secondary education system?
That's a great question, and I think it's important to note that through 2011 to now, we have seen a dramatic expansion of public dollars spent on private voucher schools. And it's been known that not only do they not perform any better than their public school counterparts, but about 3/4 of the students who are taking this tax money to be in these private voucher schools had already been in that school. So it's not, it's a kind of a false argument to point out that those vouchers help people attend school because the majority of them were already there and now they're getting subsidized by our state government. I think that in our state constitution, it does say that we have an obligation to fund public schools. Nowhere does it say we must fund private schools. And we have lost our way when we've seen a record number of taxpayers across the state pass referenda to fund their local public schools and keep the lights on at the same time that these private voucher schools, who are not obligated to follow the same rules and laws as public schools, suck up taxpayer money. It says a lot about taxpayers being willing to recognize the importance of their neighborhood public school and fund it, but we need to find a better way. They shouldn't have to raise their own property taxes when we're using state taxpayer money for private schools. So I do think that we can scale it back, and there have been several Democratic-led initiatives in the past few years to look at how we'd scale back the voucher school funding in the future, so that instead of putting public dollars into private entities, we'd actually be spending public dollars on the public good, which is really what our state has always been known for. We were one of the states to start kindergarten here, and we have always expanded opportunities for kids and families by investing in education. So somewhere along, Governor Walker's route to power, we've lost our way. But I think with new leadership in the next year, we will have a better blueprint for success. And I think that means taking those dollars that were in our private schools and investing them back into our public schools, technical colleges, and universities.
You are listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Democratic State Rep. Katrina Shankland from the 71st Assembly District joins us on the phone. Katrina, but we seem to have lots of money set aside for Foxconn. And now they're going to get, 7 million gallons of fresh lake water every single day. What are your constituents saying about the Foxconn deal? Do they think there'll be any bleed of economic prosperity coming to your district?
I think most people are at a minimum skeptical, and many more are deeply troubled and concerned. They're very worried that they're financing a project that will never benefit them. And they're also worried about, the workforce shortage. So they have pointed out everywhere you go in central Wisconsin, there's help wanted signs, and they're saying, so how many people are going to move down to southeast Wisconsin and get jobs there when in the meantime we're struggling to make ends meet up here with just filling the open jobs? And I think that they're very worried about the environmental consequences. So not only will Foxconn take 7 million gallons of water a day from Lake Michigan, but there also will be severe ramifications when it comes to air quality. It's no coincidence that Kathy Stepp, the former secretary of the DNR, now works at the Midwest Region's EPA, who was in charge of evaluating the air quality standard application. And I think that we're going to see a severe, not only economic, but environmental consequence of pouring over $3 billion of taxpayer money into southeast Wisconsin while also relaxing the rules for them. And what I'm really worried about is companies are going to see what Foxconn got, and they're going to ask for the same deal, whether it's the tax money or whether it's the relaxation of environmental standards. So if you're a manufacturing company struggling to make ends meet and you see Foxconn getting all this money and not having to follow the same laws as you when it comes to wetland development and diversion of streams, why in the world would you not ask the state for the same thing? And I don't want to go down that road. I think that Foxconn has always been pitted to us as a zero-sum game where taxpayers and the environment lose, but southeast Wisconsin workers apparently win. And I think that that's the wrong way to look at it. We need to be investing in economic development that works for everyone in the state, whether they live in Hayward, Green Bay, Superior, Manitowoc, Milwaukee, or Madison. And we could have done a lot more with $3 billion by investing in small businesses who do comply with all the state laws, who didn't need laws related to the judicial application of appeals court and environmental impact statements repealed to do their job. They started up organically. They created jobs organically. And so we should be rewarding those small companies that create about 70% of new jobs in the state, as opposed to one out-of-state foreign company that's going to suck up over $3 billion of our money.
Well, and we're last in the country in entrepreneurship, and we see what the priorities of the Republican administration is. And I guess I'm unclear as to the motivation. We have a very low unemployment rate here in the state of Wisconsin. Ask Governor Walker, he'll tell you. Then with that, as you mentioned, the help wanted signs up in your district, these are good things. Hopefully wages will rise. Well, why would we as taxpayers subsidize something we have a lot of, and that's low unemployment? That doesn't make any sense.
That's a great point. And people are asking, why in the world should we have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars per job when there already are jobs? And we should be, typically when somebody has an issue with finding workers, they'll look at their wages and their benefits, and they'll adjust, and they'll say, well, we're going to have to raise wages in order to attract good workers, and that's exactly what they should be doing. So you'll notice over the next however many months till the election, Governor Walker will talk very much so about the unemployment rate, but he won't talk about wages. Wages have been stagnant. As of 2015, we were worst in the nation for the middle class, meaning that we actually declined more as a middle class more than anyone else. I think as of 2017, we're still in the top 5, so it's getting slightly better. But what we need to be focusing on is jobs that you can build and raise a family on, jobs that you can have a life on, that you can retire securely on, and that's what we need is we need to focus more on wages. I'm glad that people have jobs, but they need to be jobs where you can afford to not only fill your gas tank and put food on the table, but also pay your medical bills and your student loan debt. So we need to talk more about economic security and getting those wages up. That's what employers should be doing.
Fine guest live via phone, State Rep Katrina Shankland for just a few more minutes. Katrina, I got to ask you, turning back to education, I found a piece published at the Journal Sentinel. Alan Borsuk, he is a senior fellow at the Marquette Law School, and he points out there is new NEAP's educational National Assessment of Education Progress, and Wisconsin ain't doing very well. Let me read briefly from this piece. The overall scores in gaps between white and black students remain huge, amongst the worst in the nation overall. One example from the new results among 8th graders, the gap between white and black students in reading skills in Wisconsin was the largest of any state, and the score for black students overall was the lowest of any state. Amongst black 8th graders in Wisconsin, 9% scored as proficient in reading and 52% in the lowest category below basic. We are watching what's going on here in Milwaukee right now. We got MTEA, the union that represents the teachers in MPS. They're doing dress rehearsals for strikes. They're talking about cutting $30 million more from the classroom budgets. We got a big problem, and the greatest percentage of our minority communities in the state of Wisconsin is right here in Milwaukee. Katrina, I think sometimes this issue is being given short shift. How do we deal with the achievement gaps? How do we dig in and start solving these problems? We've been talking about them for 25 years or more.
Yeah, that's a great point, and you're absolutely right. Well, and this isn't just a statewide issue, right? We're seeing teachers striking and marching in places like Arizona and Colorado, and we're seeing nationwide attention on how little teachers are being paid for how much they have to do. And as the standards go up, it seems to me that policymakers are the ones defunding the resources. So our teachers are barely getting paid. We have fewer teacher aides depending on the district. And the resources, in many cases, like new textbooks and curriculum and just anything to help with education, seems to be the ones that are the first to go when it comes to the budget. And so we have to do better, and you're right, we need to pay better attention to this issue. What I'd like to say is we need to focus on it. I would like to see the Blue Ribbon Commission for school funding focus specifically on the achievement gap, because I know that there are school boards across the state who are making this their number one priority. But without funding and commitment and acknowledgement from policymakers, we're not going to get anywhere. We have to put resources into it, and we have to acknowledge it, talk about it. It shouldn't just be a talking point. It should be a reality. We should all feel embarrassed that we are one of the worst states in the nation for equity when it comes to achievement in our schools. And we have to do better than just, reading it in the Journal Sentinel. And I saw that article too, and I'm glad you wrote about it. And I sit on an early learning committee in my district led by the United Way, and we're talking about it too and what we can do. But it shouldn't just come to private entities to help fill in the gaps. We need public resources, and we need a commitment to public education at all levels, from pre-K all the way up to technical colleges and universities.
Well, Katrina, we're out of time, but I would point out Governor Scott Walker did pay lip service to this issue. He and DPI, our friend Superintendent Tony Evers, put together a Read to Lead task force. That was 6 years ago. I'm not seeing the results. Katrina Shankland, thank you so much for coming and winnowing the importance of the Wisconsin idea with us. Thank you so much for joining us today, Katrina.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Katrina.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Got lots of good Dem friends, a few good Republican friends, and then there's like libertarians.
The best.
The best of the worst. The 1.5%ers. No, we like them all. Come back with us. We like you as well when you join us on the phones. 844-967-2789.
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Matt Rothschild here from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. I love being on Resistance Radio because I get to tell you who's throwing money around in the state capitol. It's disgusting. Wisconsin's not open for business. It's open for bribery. And Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss have turned the Capitol into an ATM for their corporate cronies. At the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, we blow the whistle on all of them. So please go to our website at wisdc.org, check out our latest stories, and send us a donation. We need a louder whistle.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
I'm Mike Crute. Once elected governor of the great state of Wisconsin, I intend to legalize marijuana. Legalization will create $200 million in new annual tax revenues to be applied to opioid treatment and tech school education. Medical professionals like Dr. Sanjay Gupta say marijuana legalization would reduce opioid overdoses and help treat addicts, help move Wisconsin forward with legalization, taxation, and regulation. Good people do smoke marijuana. Paid for by Crute for Wisconsin. Find us at cruteforwisconsin.com.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. A good friend of ours, a fine sponsor. He's Lenny Mattioli. He's Crazy E-Bike Lenny, and he's always selling e-bikes. Lenny, welcome back to the show, man. I got to tell you, I've been missing your ads on the radio. What happened, Lynn?
Any potential advertisers that were considering using Devil's Advocate, listen to this. We ran an ad 10 days. We sold every one. Every single one.
The Devil's Advocates.
Merchandising! Merchandising!
Every single one.
The Devil's Advocates. Radio for the 99%.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. You can join us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Want to thank our most recent guest, the fine one indeed, our friend, State Rep Katrina Shankland, 71st Assembly District, a fine Dem. This Alan Borsig piece, find it at the Journal Sentinel. I think we published it on our Facebook page. Wisconsin's achievement gap is our tragic claim to fame. Where's the outrage? Well, I've been a little outraged by this piece. And I would point out, I'm reading from the piece briefly, Alan Borsig. What if we decided we were going to launch more than tepid efforts that peter out with no results? And then in parentheticals it says, for example, do you remember the Read to Lead task force of a half dozen years ago, co-chaired by Governor Scott Walker and State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Evers, ?
Read to Lead.
Do you remember that?
I do not. Tell me more.
There's no more to tell. There are people with thoughts on this that are worth hearing. Unfortunately, they disagree in some big ways. Disagreement is one of our strongest suits when it comes to education policy in our state, but they do care and they should be heard. I expect to give them some upcoming attention. I may not let up on them on this subject for a while. I'm sick of living in a state that has these tragic claims to fame where we're watching the future of so many children and of the state itself fold unhappily. What are we going to do about it? Excellent question.
I think another
Alan
blue ribbon,
Borsig.
another blue ribbon panel, and Read to Lead too, because that's been working out so well for us.
Educational Forum, Educators Amplified, May 12th. Moderated, Dr. Tim Slecker, our own Earl Ingram will host all the Dem gubernatorial candidates. 3 go in, 1 come out every hour. Little mini debates, 3 at a time. Tune in. I'd like to ask my friend Tony Evers, how's the Read to Lead going? Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates, a fine guest expected on Brady. Christine Neumann-Ortiz, tomorrow's May Day, a day without Latinos. Voces de la Frontera. Christine Neumann-Ortiz joins us next. Stick around.
I hope. You know what that means, right?
Have no idea. I have no idea.
Having a great time.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster.
And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and puts his helmet on and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like, he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy. Okay, or a little tough guy. Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know, I'm using facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values, building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker, 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class. Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 3 p.m. Then Right Meets Left with the Joel and Joe Costa Show. Republican State Rep Joel Clayfish and Democratic State Rep Joe Costa Zamaripa go toe-to-toe from 3 to 4. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Migrant caravan, the North Korea talks. I'm Ann Cates. Vice President Mike Pence says the hundreds of Central American migrants being denied entry into the U.S. are being used as a political ploy. Correspondent Leila Santiago reports the organizers believe the caravan is keeping people safe.
They said that if they were not a part of this caravan, if they did not have this support, that is when they could become a victim of cartel violence or become vulnerable to some of those things that the vice president mentions. But being a part of this caravan, an annual march with religious roots, is what they say protects them.
President Trump is looking at several locations for his upcoming summit with North Korea's leader.
Singapore, Mongolia, the demilitarized zone, or maybe Sweden.
Oh, yeah, I think the summit's going to happen. They very much want it. We certainly would like to see it. I think the summit will happen. And personally, I think it's going to be a success, but we'll see.
President Trump still hedging his bets on the face-to-face meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. For it to be a success or perhaps even happen,
got to get rid of the nuclear weapons.
Mr. Trump says President Moon of South Korea believes strongly that after meeting with Kim Jong-un last Friday at the DMZ, the North's leader is willing to turn over his already developed nukes. Bob Costantini, Washington.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has evidence Iranian officials were brazenly lying when they said the country wasn't pursuing nuclear weapons. Correspondent Jeff Selene reports on the reaction by President Trump.
The president was indeed watching that. I'm told from just off the Oval Office. He agrees with Benjamin Netanyahu about this entirely. They had a phone call over the weekend. On Saturday they spoke. President stopping short of saying exactly what he was going to do, but listening to him in the Rose Garden certainly seemed, and all signs are pointing to the fact that he does plan to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
Losses for Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 148 points. The S&P 500 down 22. I'm Ann Cates.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Anyone who's been there knows finals week is a stress machine. So some students at the University of Utah came up with a way to help their classmates cope.
It's called the Cry Closet, a little room in the university library labeled as a place for students to take a short 10-minute break. That's one of the rules. In fact, step inside where you can find plush animals to cuddle for only 10 minutes, just one person at a time, and turn out the lights when you leave. Woodshop students Nemo Miller, Tony Miller, and David Meyer set it up as a project, but it's just temporary and will be removed once finals are over later this week. I'm Jan Johnson.
Want to prolong your life expectancy by more than a decade? A new study suggests you can do that by following these 5 healthy habits. Never smoke, maintain a healthy body mass index, keep up moderate to vigorous exercise, don't drink too much alcohol, and eat a healthy diet. I'm Ann Cates.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, Let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Ignacio, what do you got for us today?
Hey, I quit paying attention for like maybe one day, and all hell breaks loose. That goes to show me I got to pay attention every single day to your radio program, or else who knows what'll happen.
If you don't listen to the Devil's Advocates 3 hours every day, Nacho, you're missing a lot.
You got that right. I just learned that today. I turned it on and I'm listening, and you really just rocked my world today. I was just totally blown away.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. The National Weather Service has issued an elevated fire danger warning for southeastern Wisconsin. The combination of warm temperatures, dry air, and high winds highly increase the chances for a fire to burn out of control quickly. The Department of Natural Resources said there were about 30 fires burning around the state yesterday. And Governor Walker said today he would campaign with Donald Trump if the president comes to Wisconsin. The governor made the comment at the Midwest Conservative Summit being held in Milwaukee today. The governor said he expects Trump to campaign for the U.S. Senate race and would happily join him. Forecast for Milwaukee, sunshine and breezy today, and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows tonight in the low 50s. Mostly sunny and windy tomorrow, highs in the upper 70s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, I just noticed a friend on the street, apparently. Crudy supporters rolling into town for the soiree.
All right, party time.
At the Roman Coin.
Roman Coin, come on down. 6 o'clock, 6 to 9, the Crew for Wisconsin party.
I'll be like 6:05, 6:10, fashionably late. Fancy Brian told me that's how you do it.
The show rolling. Yeah, you don't be the first one there.
But Pizza Box Mike, I think he might be the first one. He might be disappointed. Private party. You're always welcome, Pizza Box. As is Christy.
Regano's Roman Coin. That's where it's at.
You got the T-shirt on and
I
everything,
do,
man.
Representing.
You are the guest bartender tonight, I understand.
The finest.
The finest of the fine. We will welcome Christine Neumann-Ortiz when she gets here.
No blended drinks or martinis, but beyond that.
PBRB ASAP.
Beers and shots. I am your guy.
Eastside Dark for all my friends.
That's the good stuff. That's
that
what we
stuff
had at
went
the party.
over well at the 1 year anniversary.
Lakefront Eastside Dark is a fine beverage.
So you better be supportive if you want some Eastside Dark. Come see us at the party.
Regano's Roman Coin.
Yeah, right down on Brady Street. It's beautiful. It is taking a turn towards summer. We went straight from winter to summer in like a week.
No doubt.
Dominic, headline you noted at the USA Today, Thomas Homan, Trump's top immigration enforcer. He's out. He resigned, Dom.
From Alan Gomez, USA Today, we found it in the Journal Sentinel. Thomas Homan, who has headed President Trump's effort to ramp up immigration arrests and crack down on so-called sanctuary cities, announced on Monday he is leaving the administration and retiring. Homan was one of...
Spend more time with family.
A lot of that going on. Homan was one of Trump's first appointments in January of 2017, tapped to lead immigration and customs enforcement, known as ICE, as its agents were ordered to round up more undocumented immigrants living throughout the U.S. Homan did just that, increasing the number of arrests in his first year and winning repeated praise from Trump. But Holman has been serving as an interim director, with Trump only nominating him to permanently lead the agency in November. Holman has been facing a difficult road to Senate confirmation over his agency's aggressive enforcement actions, its battle with local governments over the role in immigration enforcement, and the increase of arrests of undocumented immigrants without a criminal record.
Dominic, Cinco de Mayo is just not going to be the same since Thomas Holman got the interim appointment.
18 Democratic senators sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security last week asking why the administration took nearly 10 months to officially nominate an ICE director, and they asked why the department had not answered its questions of Holman's handling of ICE when the agency was, quote, making radical and in some cases possibly illegal changes in immigration enforcement and practices, unquote. We understand that the Trump administration may be concerned about Mr. Holman answering questions under oath about his leadership of ICE, as well as the possibility that Mr. Holman's nomination could be defeated in the Senate, the senators wrote.
2-1, he's got an undocumented nanny at the house.
Right.
Perhaps if you're going to resign that position the day before May Day, before marches start ensuing nationwide, and right here in our backyard in Waukesha, Bill Glauber, Journal Sentinel reports, Waukesha County Sheriff Eric Severson defends immigration program prepares for March. I hope he's preparing, Dom. Thousands will descend upon Waukesha tomorrow. We'll be there. My friend Joe Costa Samaripa and I will be there at 10 going live, and then Joe Costa, she's going to co-host. We're going to put an emphasis on immigration concerns tomorrow on this big show in your absence.
Nice.
You'll have to tune in from the airplane.
I'll do what I can.
Listen to the podcast.
On DomicRoot.com.
Let me read a little bit for you. In his office, Waukesha County Sheriff Eric Severson has a portrait of Abraham Lincoln hanging on the wall. Beside his desk, and a ready supply of U.S. Constitution books he hands out to newly sworn-in deputies. Here's a quote. "My goal is to protect everybody's rights," Severson said of Tuesday's Day Without Latinos march that culminates with a rally across the street from the Waukesha County Courthouse. This year, the immigrant rights group Voces de la Frontera is focusing on Waukesha County and demanding that Severson and his department not partner with federal authorities on immigration enforcement. Severson has agreed to participate with the Office of Immigration and Custom Enforcement, you know, Dom, ICE, and they have joined what is known as the 287G, as an original G program. The county will take part in the jail model program that gives deputized officers the authority to issue immigration detainers on inmates who could be subject to removal. 2 members of correction staff are due to attend ICE training and certification starting in mid-June. Severson says there's no firm timetable on when the program will be implemented, but you can bet it'll be before the election, Dom. I read on, in an interview, Severson, 56, said his decision to join the program was about doing what's best for Waukesha County, and of course, not politically motivated one iota.
Not one bit, Crudy. I will continue. He said the program will allow his department the unambiguous authority to work cooperatively with ICE and honor detainers that are requested by ICE for people who are already in custody and who already are believed to have committed crimes in our community. My community, my constituents want me to work with ICE to make sure if there are people in my county that are here illegally and that are committing crimes, that we don't release them back into the community, he said. Severson said nothing else will change. Quote, "We're not going to be in the community doing immigration enforcement," he said.
But isn't that precisely what they will be doing? No, just if you have any interaction whatsoever with our department, then we'll be doing immigration enforcement. So if you're, a victim of domestic violence, don't call the cops or you're subject to deportation. That's the fear of the 287G programs and its ilk, Dom.
Anselmo Villarreal, president and chief executive of Waukesha-based La Casa de Esperanza, is a friend of the sheriff's but disagrees with him on the policy. Villarreal plans to march and speak against 287G. Why Waukesha? ? Waukesha has enjoyed a very strong, very vibrant Latino community, he said. Villarreal worries that small incidents could snowball and lead to deportations. Sheriff Severson has assured me they are focusing on more violent crimes, more serious crimes, he said. My fear is that it can lead to some misunderstandings, some innocent people, or just people here in this country without documents can be deported. Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director of Voces de la Frontera, we expect she'll be joining us soon, said Severson's move is political, taking place as President Donald Trump has sought to crack down on illegal immigration. She noted that Severson testified to a U.S. Senate committee that he didn't have the resources to join the program. But Severson said while testifying, what he had in mind was a task force model, non-criminal sweeps, and roundups. Once he learned about the jail model, he became interested in the program. He said, I reserve the right to change my viewpoint when I'm given new information, he said.
Milwaukee County, under previous sheriff David A. Clark Jr., sought to join the 287G program, but after Clark's retirement, the county essentially gave up on the idea and wasn't approved for the program. Now, here's a quote. Acting Sheriff Richard Schmidt from Milwaukee County, we have never, as an organization, ever targeted illegal immigrants. Never. On Tuesday, while the march and demonstration take place outside, Severson says he plans to be in his office. He said he knows marchers will express their dissatisfaction with how he's doing his job. This is complicated, he said. This is not something I can get in front of a camera in a 6-second soundbite to dispel the misinformation that's out there. He added, what's motivating me to apply for 287G is my commitment to not violate people's rights, says the sheriff who intends to do a 287G and get rid of due process. People's rights.
I'm not exactly clear. Not violate people's rights.
Which rights are you doing this to not violate precisely, Sheriff? And I can offer you more than a 6-second platform. I got a little radio station that transmits from Waukesha. I'll be there in the morning. I'll come knocking. I'll look you up, sir. I'll give you all the time you need to explain what the hell you're talking about.
No, it's complicated, Crudy. It's complicated.
Hey, I can do nuance. I'm very complicated, as you know.
It's layers like an onion. It's very complicated.
Like the clever on this radio show. It's layered up. We're like the blooming onion of clever political talk. Come back with us. Perhaps Christine Neumann-Ortiz will join us. Maybe not. Planning for a big march tomorrow. Now, if Milwaukee marches are any example, the one last February was massive, and the one last, May? Even in a rainy day, was still quite large. Thousands in attendance. Can't wait to see if they can turn out 20,000 across from the Waukesha Courthouse. I wonder if Sheriff Severson will look up from his hard work and protecting rights and coffee drinking and donut eating.
We invite the sheriff to come on the show anytime to discuss these issues.
We have good donuts here. Fancy Brian, make sure. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. You're welcome on the phones. 844-967-2789.
Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
It is pitchfork and torches time in America.
Hey, well, you're going to have to take me to dinner first.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You're listening to the radio show your mother warned you about. Tom and Kreutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also streaming live video on YouTube and the Facebook page. On Twitter at Devil Radio, and the phone line is always open for your take, 844-967-2789.
Apparently, Christy Neumann-Ortiz still planning the big march. You know, that or getting ready for the party tonight, one or the others. I see that Pizza Box Mike's got his best prom dress on.
Nice.
Excited to see that. He's going to join us. Hey, it's Mr. ACLU walking by.
Chris out walking by. Yeah.
Everybody loves it down on Brady on a sunny day.
It's a beautiful day, man. Summertime on Brady Street is nothing like it in the country.
Hope he's also heading down to the soiree, a little private party for all my friends. And I got lots of friends.
I was just going to say, there's going to be more people than me, right?
Many, yeah. Me and you and Pizza Box Mike, for sure.
Well, we can kill that barrel.
We'll figure it out. A few are complaining that I'm not doing this event in Madison. I'll try to find a place to do an event in Madison. You know I like to party in Madison. Hawk, if you're listening, I'm talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been
Don't
a while.
make me go to an outside bar.
No, man. Can't do that.
When you've got 4 finer neighborhood bars across the greater Madison area, you should be able to host a party damn near any night of the week. Oshkosh also calling.
Yeah.
Can't wait to party up there. And you know my favorite, lacrosse, man. We're going to have to do like a college tour between now and summer. Or maybe all summer long, man. It's all going to be fun.
It'll be just like the presidential campaign. We'll just hit the road once a week.
Just go say some outrageous off-script stuff.
And keep on going.
Just crank it up to 11 and just go all Trump-like on Wisconsin.
Let's get to some callers. 844-967-2789. We'll start with Jackie on the Northwest Side. Hey, Jackie, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us?
Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Devils. How are you doing?
Excellent. How you doing?
Perfect on a perfect day.
Yeah, nice.
I just wanted to comment. I know. We could get used to this, couldn't we? I just wanted to make a comment about your previous conversation regarding education. Among other things, I have actually been a student, and I've taught students. And I have to say, after 30-some-odd years in Milwaukee, I finally know why I never taught an MPS and would never do it. And the reason is because MPS, it's all we've got, but they've got to make up their mind if they're going to be full of BS or not.
In what regard, Jackie? Clarify why you think they might be full of BS.
What I'm talking about is, all right, the reason I think that is because every time there's an educational problem, so to say, they call in some kind of consultant or they come up with the program of the, the flavor of the week or the flavor of the month, but they never follow through on anything, and they never really look at the basic problems of what's causing our children to fail.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to have some kind of consistency and allow something to come to fruition, but in order to do that, you have to have a plan in order to make that happen. You just can't throw it up against the wall like spaghetti and see if it sticks.
Well, we're not the only place that has disparate outcomes, but others are trying much harder to better their outcomes. Massachusetts comes to mind. Florida comes to mind. Hell, look south to Chicagoland. They're doing a better job closing the gaps with their reading scores between black and white students, way better. In fact, in many of the studies, the fellow from over at Marquette, Alan Borsick, who wrote the piece talking about the gap, the nation-leading chasm between black and white students in Wisconsin, he says you got to do something. You got to commit to it. You got to go full tilt at it. Is it hard? Absolutely, it's going to be hard. But Jackie, you're right. We got to start solving problems and stop kicking the can down the road.
Nothing worth it is going to be easy, but the outcome is going to be well worth the effort that you expend. You know the old saying, garbage in, garbage out? The reason we're still getting garbage out is we're putting garbage in. We're not committed to anything. We're not committed to excellence. We're not committed to performance. We're not committed to standards. Now, that's basic education 101. If you can't do that, then get out the classroom.
Jackie, we've had a lot of teachers leaving the classroom. Obviously, we've had something of a teacher exodus. They've been villainized in the state of Wisconsin. Do you think the response should be to lower the certification levels for teachers? Should we just make it a broader sort of thing? If you want to teach and, you got some credible vocation, you can teach. Do you think that's the correct route to go?
I have a two-word response to that. Hell no. If you lower standards for teachers, I should say hell to the no, but hell no, because if you lower standards for teachers, then you're lowering standards for the students that they teach.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your input, Jackie from the Northwest Side. Please join us at the Educators Amplified event. It will broadcast all across Wisconsin's Resistance Radio on May 12th between 12 and 3 p.m. Come ask your pointed education questions. Come join the educated educators. Come join the teachers right here in Milwaukee. Miramar Theater, room for you. Just get there early. Come back with us, Devil's Advocates. Phone lines, there's still some open. 844-967-2789.
If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's that learning things never taught me nothing, and books is the worst.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I am not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crude Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Hey, everybody. Did you know that Scott Walker spelled backwards is Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network? I know, I was amazed too.
We are the People for People, People Corporation. We are a registered 501c3, totally legit. What do? We take your uncapped, dark money, tax-deductible donations, private or corporate, always anonymous, and we turn it into free speech. You know, educate Wisconsin through advertising, which may or may not be in coordination with the candidate. Isn't that illegal? It should be, but it's not under Wisconsin law, thanks Governor Scott Walker. Politicians in Wisconsin are beholden to the millionaire and billionaire sugar daddy and sugar mamas that finance their campaigns. Time to make them beholden to we the people for People Corporation. Give your tax-deductible donation to the real patriots, the People for People Corporation, P for ppc.org, P, the number 4, ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
We got Mark Pocan live via phone. Mark, does Paul Ryan hate poor people?
Oh, he hates poor people and middle-class people. I mean, I think when he was probably 5 years old playing with Play-Doh, trying to, adjust the taxes on Play-Doh. So, to be fair, I think he's doing what he always said he was going to do. It's just no one actually believed he was either that cruel, evil, or dumb to do it.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 a.m., Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Grassroots organization Common Ground of southeastern Wisconsin is celebrating its 10th anniversary. The group announced at a gathering yesterday that they will continue to focus on reducing gun violence and lowering unemployment. Common Ground of southeastern Wisconsin is an alliance of church congregations, religious groups, small businesses, nonprofits, schools, and neighborhood associations. The Pfister Hotel celebrates its 125th birthday tomorrow, and the Brewers got swept by the Cubs in Chicago this weekend. They now move on to Cincinnati for a 3-game series that begins this evening. Forecast for Milwaukee, sunshine and breezy today, and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows tonight in the low 50s. Mostly sunny and windy tomorrow, highs in the upper 70s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Ice. El hielo.
The Devil's Advocates, tackling the issues you're not allowed to talk about at the dinner table.
Va pasando el trapo sobre la mesa y está.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Our eagerly anticipated guest, she's our friend Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director, Voces de la Frontera. Christine, we would have hoped to have hosted you down on Brady Street, but apparently busy planning a big march tomorrow. Christine, welcome back to the show.
Well, I'm glad I could still make it and to get the word out. One final shout out to invite folks to come to march in Waukesha tomorrow for Todos Somos Waukesha. We're all Waukesha to tell Sheriff Severson we don't want 287G in Wisconsin.
Now, Christine, I've attended and marched along on a couple of last year's events here in Milwaukee. The February event, massive. Not like it was a small event on May Day last year. How do you think attendance will be with a new venue in Waukesha? Obviously, 287G, Waukesha seemingly made themselves the target this year.
Definitely. I think, it was a very democratic process in terms of the vote to go there. We have always had what became a tradition since 2006, the May 1st march in Milwaukee that kind of marks a moment in time where we're at with the immigrant rights movement. And what was so powerful about February and May last year was that the energy and the power of all of that, which echoed out to the nationally and internationally, was that Sheriff Clark wanted to bring this program to Milwaukee County, which has like 40% of the Latino community of the state in it, and obviously large numbers of refugee community, people of color. So this program is a super controversial program because it has a record of contributing to more cases of racial profiling, harassment, and then also, of course, the intent of it is to go after immigrants and deport them regardless of what their circumstances or contributions are. And so it's a program that only brings a lot of misery and suffering with it. And it was strongly opposed. And because of everyone's participation, we were able to block it. We found out late in the game that Sheriff Severson had applied. In terms of the turnout, I mean, we would hope that people come in. It's. I would say, for me, it's an honor. It's an honor to march tomorrow in Waukesha because it is a different environment. It's a different environment from Madison. It's a different environment from Milwaukee. It's a place where it is one of the most conservative counties in Wisconsin. And the Latino population, while it has grown significantly, so for example, 39% of the school district in the city of Waukesha are Latinos, while that's an emerging community. And of course, there is also diversity there. We're being joined by like the Muslim community that's getting the word out that has also faced discrimination and would also equally suffer under these type of policies. But having said that, I would say, it still is a smaller community. So the idea of solidarity in marching shoulder to shoulder with folks who are going to be, who are being targeted by this policy, which is set to be implemented in mid-July, take effect, I think it's extremely important to send a message. And it's a real honor when people talk about being in solidarity with people. I truly believe marching tomorrow on May 1st is like one of the most concrete things you can do.
Folks, we've got Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director, Voces de la Frontera, live via phone. She's telling us all about the big march planned for Waukesha tomorrow. It is May Day. Christine, about 10 o'clock, the march is going to get commenced, let's say, runs to about 12 with speakers. Is that my understanding?
That's right. So there's a park. We are asking people to get there at the latest, 9:30. And at Cutler Park, which is by the library. That's people know it, I guess, locally as the park by the library. And from there, we will be then going to, exactly. We have to start marching at 10 to then be able, there will be a program led by a lot of the students that are coming from particularly Waukesha, Milwaukee, and Racine that have been organizing incredibly. I mean, we're going to have a very large youth contingent and very diverse one. And so it'll come, and from there then we're going to start marching, and we'll go, it's about 1.5 miles. We'll go to the Waukesha County Courthouse. So if anyone can't march, we're telling people just go there. There's a parking lot across the street from the courthouse and a stage. And so people can go there. And that's where we'll be arriving. And we will have a program and it'll end sharply at at noon because those buses do need to get going at noon because of the school schedule. So it is a tight program, and this time we really encourage people to please get there early.
Christine, last time I saw you, at least out in the field, if you will, was at Scott Walker's re-election launch in Waukesha. Christine, why did your organization, Voces de la Frontera, why did you target the current governor of the state of Wisconsin? What is it about his policies that are anti-immigrant?
Well, that's a really good question because our demand was that he speak out as the governor, that he also speak out against these type of the 287G program in Wisconsin. He does have an anti-immigrant record, so it's not like we're naive about that. He has opposed driver's licenses when he first ran. He said he would support it, then and within 24 hours flipped and said he'd oppose it. But we need to restore access to driver's licenses to immigrants. We're obviously a big focus is to block this from being implemented, but the other piece is that we're fighting for driver's licenses because that's potentially, really probably the largest, the biggest conduit to deportations that is being set up. Second offense driving without a license is a state criminal charge. That's even in Severson's application to the federal government. It highlights the fact that driving without a license, suspended license, which people can't get to unless the state legislature and the governor restores that, are vulnerable to deportation. And so we are marching to have him take a stand against 287G because it's wrong. I mean, Mexico is Wisconsin's second largest trade partner. We have a large Mexican and Mexican American community, a diverse from Puerto Rican community that are critical in many parts of our economy that contribute to the diversity and the culture of here. And it's as it always has, as different waves have of immigrants. And so it's something positive, and he should be, if he's a Christian, his father was a pastor, then he should be standing up for keeping families together. He values his own. As such, he should extend that empathy for others in the policies that are passed. But his record is he has to date said, I don't support driver's license, restoring driver's licenses. He actually was part of the lawsuit, our Attorney General, and of course Walker himself, to block DAPA, which was like DACA, but for parents. And because we have such a young population in Wisconsin, almost half of the undocumented families which majority are mixed immigration status families, would have been able to adjust their status, even though it was a temporary fix in a sense till Congress passed a reform. So it's that kind of cruel. That's cruel, and that's been his record so far. He tried to pass something to deny prenatal care for immigrant mothers, couldn't get that passed because that was a federal law does not allow that. And then most recently, shamefully, he said, as was mentioned earlier in the show, I appreciate lifting that up, just basically backing Trump with his craziness and saying, let's send National Guards to the border to pump up this idea that somehow there's a threat, when in reality we have there is no threat, and if anything, there's the refugees who are largely children and women escaping violence and death, who are the ones who, by international law and moral law, our country should be receiving and supporting, and that's the people that Trump wants to put arms against. And so it's just kind of feeding into the worst, farther to the right than he has been, and I think we have to call him out on that. And he is the elected governor now, and what I'm pleased about is that I feel that finally, after so many years, that immigration, because of Trump and the extremism of the threats that how he's so aggressively going after civil rights, immigrants, refugees, and so many other things, that it has been a unifying wake-up call. And I do believe the immigrant community has been really for a while now at the lead in terms of the militant resistance to some of the worst politics in this country. But now I feel like there is a unifying. We are living in a time, thankfully, where people are stepping forward and that unity is growing. And we need that more than ever. And it's really become a good thing in elections because we see folks like Randy Bryce, Kathy Myers, other folks, committing, civil disobedience to stand up to call Paul Ryan out for his failure to protect immigrant youth and get a vote on the Clean Dream Act. Things like that, where people are standing up for what's right, including as part of their electoral platform. And I think that boldness is what people have long had an appetite for and need for. And I think that people are leading, and there's other good folks stepping forward who are unapologetically and boldly making human rights, social rights a part of their agenda. And that's what we need, and we just got to keep going.
Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director, Voces de la Frontera. One question I have for you. Waukesha County Sheriff Eric Severson said that his interest in the 287G program is not politically motivated. You were quoted in the Journal-Sentinel article saying that it was politically motivated. I want to get your take. What role do you think, or does your organization take on local governments, what their role should be in any sort of immigration enforcement?
We embrace the idea of sanctuary cities, and that basically just means that local government and including local law enforcement should, that the role of federal immigration enforcement does nothing good for local communities. Obviously, there should be accountability, but we strongly, for anybody that has anyone whose actions need to be held accountable if they hurt anybody. But the role of immigration, the way, especially now under the way it has been used, but now on steroids under the Trump administration, is to try to coerce, and really stand up at this as part of like the machinery to profile and persecute an entire group of people simply because of this idea of it is essentially an idea of ethnic cleansing. We're saying this group is inherently better, and this other group should be driven out, and that's very, very dangerous. And this isn't just rhetoric; it's it's real. And where they're trying to get a foothold, they're trying to get a foothold. This program, like the 287G program, was 26, or what was it? 26. It's now 79. Or excuse me, 29. It's now 76 nationally. And so they really are trying to stand up this stuff. Why is it politically motivated? I mean, one, we do believe it is because he first came out as saying, and even his own application clearly says there is no safety issues, quote unquote, because that's not even, it does nothing for safety. But even if you were trying to justify that, he himself testified in U.S. Senate hearings that there's no need for it. There's no issues. There's no, and then, so we have asked for a Freedom of Information request just to, we do believe that, that there was definitely some coordination going there, and we just like to know. But even if we don't get that, which, as we know, they've resisted very much here in Wisconsin, open records law, the reality is we know that's Trump's agenda, and what they're driving relentlessly and getting blocked by the courts consistently and by resistance and local government resisting what they're trying to, their threats to pull funding, their own violations of constitutional law and court orders. This is the Trump administration itself, and to force this agenda. So basically they're testing what they can get away with, and it's very important. We believe that, there should be only unless there's a judicial warrant for showing that, that presented by immigration, that would be the only circumstances where people have been given due process rights, and it's something of a serious nature where there would be any basis to comply with that. Otherwise, we believe there should be a clear separation between local law enforcement, local government, and federal immigration enforcement, which is, and people now are calling for its abolition as an institution because, it's had a horrible track record, and even now it's just getting worse. There's almost too much to talk about, but one thing, for example, is, the fact that, for example, 65% of the people being held in detention right now are in these private prisons, and where people are legally paid $1, $1 a day, foreign workers. And they've taken away all of the regulation that had been placed on these because people were being raped, being murdered, because there was it's all about money and there's no accountability. And all of that is like fair game now again. So the people are being turned away, the refugees, the families these are human rights abuses. And so if anything, their pressure is building an incredible resistance.
Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director, Voces de la Frontera. We encourage all of you to join our friend Christine. There will be thousands in Waukesha. Get there early, about 9:30, across from the courthouse. Christine, if people want more details, quickly give them a website.
Voces de la Frontera, VDLF.org. Everything you need to know is there, including where you can park, address and everything, and transportation if you want a caravan with some of the buses. All our buses, I would say, are almost full, but go if you want, and if not, help caravan, help.
Thank you, Christine Neumann-Ortiz. I'll see you in the morning in Waukesha. More Devil's Advocates. We'll be right back.
Hey, Batman here. Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Hoping you'll support us as we track all that dark money that's splattering your screens with mud. You can count on us to tell you who really runs Wisconsin, and it's not Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss. They're just the water boys for the Koch brothers, WMC, the NRA, and Diane Hendricks. You can find all this out at our website at wisdc.org, and while you're there, please send us a donation so we can keep after these bad guys.
Hi, I'm Becky with Bounce Milwaukee, a progressive, local, family-owned entertainment center. We just want to remind you what it's like to be a kid again. Come on in for all ages fun. Bounce in our giant inflatables, race up the rock wall, dominate your friends in laser tag, or just relax in our bar or our massage chairs. Open 6 days a week with extended adult-only weekend hours. Find us at bouncemilwaukee.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
The Devil's Advocates.
James Santel, he's a former U.S. attorney. He's our guest live on Brady.
Once again, a pleasure to be with you, gentlemen, to talk about the latest news breaking as we speak.
The FBI raided Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney, but once they got there, then they went back and got a more thorough warrant and said, we'll take everything.
My first reaction is you need to teach criminal constitutional law. You've got it just right in terms of the process.
They are kind of a big deal.
This is a really big deal.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years. Assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's three easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org. Or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
They'll challenge your authority because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, and in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
The big and tall of political talk. Dom and Cruz on The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day, 844-967-2789.
Thank you, Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director, Voces de la Frontera. Please join us tomorrow morning, 9:30, Waukesha, across from the courthouse, or tune in. We will do live hits. Me and Joe Costa Zamaripa, my fine co-hostess, tomorrow on this big show. We'll be at the Day Without Latinos May Day rally in Waukesha, going live for our Wisconsin Resistance Radio audience. And don't forget, the soiree starts at the Roman Coin. A little after 6. I'll get cleaned up and head up the street. But let's take a couple callers before this big show's over.
Ignacio, you are first. Thanks for calling, man. What do you got today?
Hey, well, Governor Trudy there, Trudy, last week we spoke about schools and about taxes being used, but you failed to mention one thing. You said you don't want your taxes being used for private schools, but what about the people that send their kids to private schools? You're using their tax money, and it's still not being used efficiently. What about their money?
You know, I paid taxes before I had kids, but Ignacio, we have one constitutional mandate in the state of Wisconsin that we will provide one free public school education. There's only so many resources. It's a finite number. We can't fund two. That's been my only point, Nacho. Let's take one more. Let's go, Paul.
Yes, let's get to it. Hey, Paul, what's up, man? You got us.
Hey, Profane Ronnie on the street. There's a party girl.
Keep the mic away from her. Hey, Paul.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I'll do two quick ones here. The GOP are the snowflakes that melt before they hit the ground. They can't take it. Hey, and is it true that Trump's going to campaign with Scott Olson? I hope they have to use the roads. Time for a beer. See ya.
Hope to see you at the soiree. Yeah. Scott Walker said he would campaign with Donald Trump because, you know, birds of a feather, corrupted politicians, they hang together.
GOP, they have all merged their agenda. This is Donald Trump's GOP.
And Donald Trump and Scott Walker's Wisconsin. When you think Donald Trump, think Scott Walker. I'd like to marry those two. Thank you to all our fine guests.
You could make a cute couple.
Congressman Mark Pocan. Could we marry a threesome like that?
You know, why not?
State Rep Katrina Shankland, a fine guest. And, of course, Christine Neumann-Ortiz, Executive Director, Voces de la Frontera. Tomorrow, live hits from Waukesha, the big May Day March, a Day Without Latinos, and, of course, a big soiree tonight. If you're amongst my friends, the East Side Dark is cold, but you got to give your name, and you got to get through the bouncer.
That's Brian. I'm out. I'll be back next week, folks. Have a great one.
Fancy. Dom, thanks. Me and Joe Costa. Tomorrow it'll be a fun show without you.
Like a porn star says when she's about to have sex with a Trump, let's get this over with.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you